Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about a question that many English learners may ask. Is English pronunciation important? Some people say pronunciation is very important. On the other hand, some others would say pronunciation is not important at all. They say, well, as long as people understand you, pronunciation does not matter. So, what is the truth? Today, we will talk about three things. First, why pronunciation matters. Second, what kind of pronunciation is important. And third, how you can improve your pronunciation easily. And I would also show you some real examples of pronunciation mistakes that can cause misunderstandings. Let's begin. First question. Why does pronunciation matter? Imagine this scenario. You go into a restaurant in another country. You want to order rice, but instead you said something that sounds like lies. Now, the waiter looks confused. You want lies? Because rice and the lies sound very different, right? Another example. Think about these two words ship, the one that sails on the water, and the sheep, okay, the one that make ba when they make the sound. Very small difference, right? Ship and a sheep. But the meaning is completely different. If someone says, I work on a sheep, I work on a sheep, people will imagine something very strange, right? So maybe you are standing on the top of a sheep, right? But what you really mean is I work on a ship, not a sheep, it's a ship. This is why pronunciation matters. Bad pronunciation can create confusion. Not because your English is bad, your English is still good, but because the sounds are unclear. So always remember, you have to make your pronunciation clear. May not like native speaker, but you have to make yourself clear. Communication is like sending a message. If the signal is not clear, the message becomes unclear. So, pronunciation helps make your message clearer. That's the first part. You have to make yourself clear. And then, perfect pronunciation is not necessary. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. You just have to make yourself clear. So, this goes to my second point. Okay? You do not need perfect pronunciation. Let me say that again. You don't need perfect pronunciation. Many English learners worry too much. They think, well, my accent is terrible. Your accent doesn't matter at all. My pronunciation is not native. It doesn't really matter, okay? But remember something more important. English is a global language. Most English conversations today happen between non native speakers. For example, a Taiwanese engineer talking with a Japanese engineer. Okay? A Korean manager may talk with a German manager, right? Similar scenarios happen all around the world every day. None of them speak perfect American or British English, but communication still works. So all we need is to make communication possible and effective. That is all we need. So the goal is not perfection. The goal is clarity. You have to make English clear. Clear pronunciation is enough. Accent is not the problem. Unclear sounds are the problem. Okay, don't make unclear sounds. You can have an accent. Everybody has an accent. Chinese accent, Spanish accent, French accent. These are fine. But people should still understand you easily. That's the point. And my third point, three pronunciation problems many learners have. You have to know that. Now let's talk about three common pronunciation problems. Many English learners have these problems. Problem number one, missing sounds. You miss some important sound, so you miss the message. Many learners remove sounds from words. For example, we have a word called next, right? N-E-X-T, next. Someone would say nest. They don't say next, they say nest. But the correct pronunciation includes the T sound and X, right? X sound, X. So that would be next. But next, but you would say nest, no. So that would make confusion. Another example is asked. A-S-K-E-D in the past tense. Asked. Asked, right? Some people would say ask, but you missed the time. The correct pronunciation is asked. Mixing sound can make sentence unclear because you make the past tense into present tense. Okay, so I love you in the present tense is very different from I loved you, because that means I don't love you now. So, number two, the second problem. English has word stress. You have to know the syllables and the stress. One part of the word is stronger and another part may be less stronger or not pronounced or even not stressed. For example, as a noun, R-E-C-O-R-D would be pronounced as record. Record. The stress is in the first syllable, but the verb of the same word, R-E-C-O-R-D, would become record. The same word, the same pronunciation, the same spelling, R-E-C-O-R-D, but different pronunciation. As a noun, it is record, like breaking the world record. But as a verb, it becomes record, recording the sound. So that is record. Let me give you another example. Present, P-R-E-S-E-N-T, present is the gift to other people, right? So that is present. The stress is in the first syllable, but present is to give a speech with, for example, PowerPoint slides. So that is called present. Present is a verb. So P-R-E-S-E-N-T as a verb, that is present. But as a noun, that becomes present. Stress changes meaning. If stress is wrong, people may feel confused and you may not make yourself clear. So always remember to make clear of your stress. The third problem is about the sentence rhythm. English has rhythm. It's syllabic language. Syllables have rhythms, so sentences have rhythms as well. Some words are strong, some words are weak. They are stressed and unstressed. For example, I want to go to the store. I want to go to the store. So native speakers often say, want to go to store. I want to go to store. Not every word is equal. You see, I want to becomes I wanna. So something is stressed, want. But to, it is not that stressed. It is not that simple. So it is, as you can see, skipped. Okay. So I want to go to the store instead of I want to go to store. Of course, as a sentence, it is still I want to. But when you read that or when you say that, it becomes I want to go to the store. So something is skipped in the stress. Not every word is equal. Content words are strong like want. Content words are strong. Small grammar words become softer, like I want to. That to is the grammar word. So this rhythm makes English sound natural. So remember, you have to have some stressed words and some letters are not stressed. And real communication examples will be given to you. Let me give you a real example. Imagine a student saying this sentence: I think this movie is boring. The problem here is the word think, not sink. Think, not sink. The students say think, right? Now imagine the listener. They hear, I think this movie is boring. They may think, wow, so why are you sinking down, right? Why are you sinking? Maybe in water. But the student actually means, I think the movie is boring. Think, T-H-I-N-K. So this is a very common pronunciation problem, the TH sound. Many learners replace it with s or think, I think. There's T or I think, D. So S, S, T, T, or D, T, D. These will replace the original th sound. But the correct sound is th, like think, three, Thursday. These sounds are very difficult to pronounce, but you have to practice. But they are very important because they change the meaning, right? So you have to practice this sound to make that difference and to make people understand your English. And so, what is the real goal in learning English pronunciation? The goal of pronunciation is not perfection, as we have mentioned. The goal is comfortable communication. We make each other comfortable in communication in English. If people can understand you easily, your pronunciation is good enough. Good pronunciation should be number one, clear. It has to be number two, natural. And then it has to be easy to understand. It does not need to sound like a movie actor. Communication is the priority. And now let's talk about the most important question. How can you improve your pronunciation? Here are 4 practical methods that you can take to improve your English pronunciation. Number 1, you can listen carefully. Listen makes your speaking and pronunciation better. Pronunciation begins with listening. You cannot pronounce sounds you cannot hear. So listen carefully to podcast, for example, is a good way for you to listen and practice. You can listen to movies and especially their conversation in the movie. YouTube, you can listen to English interviews or even TED. They are very good materials for you to practice your English listening. Pay attention to their sounds, their rhythm, and to their intonation. And number 2, when you want to practice your English pronunciation, you have to do shadowing. Again, yes, shadowing. Shadowing is very powerful in learning English pronunciation. Listen to a sentence, repeat it immediately. That's very important for kids to learn English, when they grow up. So that is also the way for English learners to do so. For example, I really enjoyed the movie, right? You can repeat immediately, I really enjoyed the movie. Try to copy. Try to copy the speed, try to copy the tone, and try to copy its pronunciation. Shadowing improves speaking quickly. And the next method is to record yourself. Okay, this method is super effective. Use your phone. All of you have your smartphone, right? So record your voice. Then listen to yourself. Compare with native speakers, and you would notice differences. Your goal is not to be a copycat speaking like a native speaker. Your goal is to clarify your pronunciation to make yourself clear when you're talking and communicating with people. And this helps you improve faster. Record, listen, and try to improve. The next one is to focus on problem sounds. Different learners have different problems. Chinese speakers often struggle with l, r, right? And like light or right in when they speak English. Turn on the light, turn right. Light and right are a little bit challenging for them. And like rice and lice, l and r, right? Rice for eating and the lice staying on the pads. And also, th sounds are challenging for Chinese native speakers learning English, like think, or three, because in their pronunciation habit, they do not have this way of pronunciation like the. Practice this sound slowly, and remember, accuracy is more important than speed. Accuracy is important, not perfection. You have to pronounce your words accurately to make people understand you clearly. That is our goal. And then, confidence is more important than accent. Confidence is very important. Let me tell you something important. Confidence is more important than accent. That is always true. Being confident. Some learners have perfect pronunciation, but they speak very quietly, very slowly, or very unconfidently. They are afraid of making mistakes. Communication becomes difficult if you are too shy and without confidence. Others, other learners, they have strong accent, but they can speak clearly and confidently, so people can understand them easily. Confidence improves communication, so speak clearly, speak confidently. You don't have to be fast in your pronunciation or speak in English sentences. Just try to be confident and clear. And do not be afraid. That's important. And so, today we answer an important question. Is English pronunciation important? The answer is yes, in a way, but maybe not in the way you think. Pronunciation is important because it helps communication, but perfection is not necessary. You do not need to sound like a native speaker. You only need to sound clear. So please focus on clear sounds, word stress, and the natural rhythm, and practice regularly. Over time, your pronunciation will improve naturally. Thank you for your watching and keep practicing your English. See you next time. Bye.